Everything man needed was, without going through all the metallurgical process of refining gold, gold grains were there, he could just pick them up. Think of that, how beautiful the place was. Man spoiled everything. He failed in the probation. He was told not to eat, but he said, I will eat. He ate it. So lost the paradise. Of course, we are going to be in the paradise. The Lord told the thief on the cross, today you shall be with me in paradise. So we are going to go there, That paradise will be far, far greater and better than the paradise on earth, because there is no more probation there, no more probation there. The tree of knowledge will not be there, only the tree of life. So we don't have to be afraid of failing in the probation. So we don't know really what man looked like, what man looked like, what Adam looked like. Some of the pictorial representation of Adam in the garden, the snake coming and Adam and Eve, it doesn't give me the impression that it was a marvelous piece of work. Looking at those, pictorial representation of Adam and Eve walking in the garden and all, before the fall, and then the snake coming and they're taking and all that, it tells me that man cannot have the capacity to imagine what it was like. That's what he can imagine. He is painting just an ordinary man. No, it was not an ordinary man. He was a unique man. Unique man. Can somebody paint what man will be in heaven when we are all completely redeemed and glorified? Simply say that we shall be like him. We have no idea. Is it in the look? Is it in the thinking? In what sense? It's all beyond our comprehension, Sit down and you can speculate. But more often the speculation will go wrong, because we don't have the capacity to speculate. That's the problem. So John said, we don't know what we shall be. That's a true statement. But we know we shall be like him. In what ways? No, even John didn't say us. But in some ways. So man was created very, very uniquely, and there was no photography those days, and somebody would have taken, but who that somebody will be? Adam has to take Eve's and Eve had to take Adam's, or who else? A picture of what it was like, it would have been nice. But definitely, was Adam a white man or a brown man or a black man? I have the opinion that was a brown person. Yeah. Did anybody tell you how God made man? I may have told you the story. God never made man, first time. So God said, I'm going to make man in my image, in our image. So God, digged out the soil and, put some water and made a paste and made the head and everything else, and, then it has to be baked, So he put for the big oven, for baking. And of course, he was very eager, like the little child, because, hey, babe, we're going to have man, So he put it in and he took it out very fast. So it was not properly baked. It was kind of pale, Anyway, he said, I made man, so I'm not going to throwing it away. So he breathed and said, let these be the white people, See, they don't look baked properly, right? Then God said, I'm going to make a man, they're going to be perfect. So he again did it. He said, I'm not going to be in a hurry. Okay. So he waited a little too long, it was burned up. So he took it out and he said, boy, this looks, terribly different. Don't want to say terribly bad, terribly different. So anyway, he breathed into the nostrils and said, you go to the African sites and that sort, live there, Then God said, now I wanted to make man the perfect way. So he calculated the average time of the two and all that, and then he baked and came out just the way we are, Neither white nor black, it's just brown. And the thing is, there are more brown people in the world than any other group. Well, it's not like that. God made man. You can think like that, brown I like anyway. That's how God made me. So God must have a reason that we are all come under that category, brown people, brown eyes and brown people and all that. God made man a masterpiece. It's amazing. It's only from one man all the different colors and different sizes and all these people came, anthropologists, social anthropologists spend time and years and research to find out from what group every, ethnic group has come. Where did the Indians come from? The Malayalis come from? The North Indians come from? Where did they come from? Where they are? So it's research going on. About how much research they do, we have the answer where they came from. But Adam and Eve, we can say Noah and Noah's 3 children, that's where they came from. Oh, how come all these variations? Yesterday I was taking a class on, family in Allahabad, and a brother said, brother, I have a problem. I said, what is it? I have a relation, both father and mother are real dark. They have 3 children, they are real white. I said, what's the problem? That's a blessing, right? So what is the problem? The problem is, how come? I said, that's marvelous, Noah had 3 sons from whom all these variations came. Maybe a great-great-grandfather, they are 15, 20 generations back, who were really fair. And God said, maybe I wanted to bless this couple with that kind of, skin color. So bless them, and this comes. Even Mendel's theory and all that, those who studied know that, how the genetic variations come. God has made these possibilities in them. Yeah. So, what I meant to say is that the uniqueness of man's creation. We read that God created man in his own image, but when Adam had a son, what was the statement? Adam created a son in his image. About Seth, it said that he has begotten a son in his image. Yes, that's nice. God's image in man is still there, but it is partially lost, I will say. No, damaged, maybe a better word. So our children are in our image. They are reflecting every weaknesses we have, and it comes long way. Our grandfathers and grandmothers' weakness on both sides, then our parents' weakness on both sides, then of course mine and my wife's weakness on both sides, that our children have inherited. Now as they will pass on, some other family's weaknesses also, it goes on. How carefully you choose your partner, there are weaknesses, hiding there. And so the social anthropologists, they make great studies, but they all do their studies forgetting that there is a creator behind man. You cannot explain man without God. There is no way. Yes. So anthropology, our study primarily concerns about the doctrine of sin actually. That's what we will be studying mostly. The reason, the ideal state before sin came was the most important, but how long? We know actually nothing about that state. So if we wanted to study about that dispensation of so-called innocence before sin came, what do you know about it? Genesis chapter 1 and 2, and then sin, chapter 3, sin, and then the 66 books until the Revelation, it's all about the sin and things related to it. So if we wanted to study about man's original glorious state, we have no resources. We even don't know how Adam looked like, Adam thought like. Why Eve ate that fruit? We have studied, talked about some of those things, but very limited knowledge we have. So our study of anthropology primarily concerns about the doctrine of sin. It's not because sin is the ideal state of man, no, but because the holy state was very brief, and apart from, we don't have much literature on it. Actually, we don't know how long Adam remained without sinning. Any of you have an idea? I will say that less than a month. That's my thinking. Less than a month. The reason I say is, the day God created a man, He blessed them and said, multiply, Eve did not become pregnant before the sin. So maximum we can say that what's a month. The period of ovulation, maximum can take only a month. So it may have happened before. That was the ideal state, therefore there was no reason, in their relationship, physical relationship, conception won't take place. So conception can take place only when ovulation is there. So I will give a maximum period of 1 month. That's it. Within that period, man fell. A man's age were, when the counting of the age starts. With the day of creation or with the day of sinning? That's a big question. Because there is no age without aging, right? So when did Adam started aging? Did he start aging in the day when he was created? No. Aging started only when sin came. Entropy started only there. So it's possible that the age of Adam basically is the age from the day of sinning, not from the day of creation. Of course, if it's only one month, it doesn't make much difference. So all these things, when you think about it, and you have to think so much about all these things. We have a countdown. God has a countdown. If a man lives today 80 years, how God counts? When the first birthday comes, God says 79. Then it is 78. Then it is 10, 9, 8. It comes down. Okay, boy. 3, okay. 2, and next birthday, boom. We have count up. So there could be no countdown for Adam when he was created if he didn't sin. Because he was to remain eternally. Do we get older in eternity? How old you will be after 1,000 years in eternity? There is no aging. So when there is no aging, age doesn't mean anything. All of us will be in same age. Why, you want to catch up with him? You want to be much younger? Well, that's a good question. Will all of well, I think that the appearance will be there, aging. Abraham was recognized because Abraham was, yes. When Samuel was brought in, he was an old man with grey hair and beard and all, so the appearance will be there. But the counting of the age, I don't know. Probably nobody will count age there. How old is Gabriel? I don't think there is a record of the Gabriel or Michael's age, because they never age. Therefore, their age is not counted. So this is a very marvelous thing, see what sin has brought in. Yeah, wonderful and amazing, right? Yes, it is. It is. So the study of man involves a lot of things, If we can walk back into the Garden of Eden, take a look at it, and see Adam and Eve standing there in the ideal state, without sin, all glorious, reflecting the image of God. Oh, that would have been glorious. But we will never see our grandparents, great-grandparents in that condition anymore. Yes. How bad Adam and Eve will feel all through eternity because they only brought in the sin. How will they forget the wound of the Lord Jesus Christ? It's only they caused it. But then why blame them? You will find out that in a study of anthropology, Adam is not, the only one who is responsible for it. Yes. There is a song somebody wrote, "Who Killed Jesus?" many years ago. Was it the Roman soldiers? Was it the Jewish boys? No. My sin demanded hell. It fell on him. So who is the killer of Jesus? It's you and me. That realization is what brings a person to the point of salvation. The historical reality, 2000 years back, there was a man called Jesus. He came and he died. So what is it? No, he died because of me. My sin demanded the punishment, but it fell on him. So who killed Jesus? It was me. That's the songwriter, hence it was me. It was me. What a realization that. So even if, when we meet Adam, some people now say that I want to talk to him. For all the problems that he has brought in. Well, you don't need to talk to him about problems. You can just talk to yourself. Adam was not alone when he ate that fruit. Yes. Well, these are questions that we will be discussing, who ate the fruit? Did we? Did we sin? How we became sinners? No, all these questions come. So that's an introduction I just said about how important is the study of anthropology. It's very important. A proper understanding of anthropology is very necessary for us to appreciate our salvation and also to worship our God. Worship our God. Yes. I often think about God creating man. We say that Calvary represents the greatest love of God. I sometimes ask, is it? Or the Garden of Eden, the creation of man represents the greatest love of God. See, when God was creating man, he knew fully well all that was involved, because Christ was already set apart from the foundation of the earth, right? So everything he knew, everything was planned for. So it's not an accident. So when God, Jesus Christ, he himself sat down maybe like a child in the mud and shaped the head, and what may have come through his mind, as he was forming the ears and everything, and then he must knew that, this is the very brain that's going to plot against me. They're going to cause my death. If you are creating a toy with mud, and the thought comes that this head is going to think against you and going to cause your death, what will you do? What will you do? That's right, you will crush it. But Jesus didn't crush it. See that? How softly he designed it. He was making the hands. He knew these are the hands that's going to take that big nails, iron nails and the hammer and going to pound it into my hands and my feet. What he should have done? Just pluck it away and throw it away. He should have hit the head like this, and we would have flat head like that. So for me, the very account of creation does not simply tell us how great a creator he is, but how great a lover he is. knowing the cost, knowing what this man is going to do to him, the Creator made him. Some people say, why did he make it? He should have destroyed it. Well, if he had destroyed it, you won't be there to say it. To ask the question, why did he make it? See, we are able to ask that question only because he did not destroy him. So it's a great, love. Of course, Calvary is the epitome of it, the highest point, but the point of creation is not in any way less. It's marvelous. So God's love is seen all through the creation of man, the designing of man, the decision to make, the design, and the very act of making. When he stood close to it, Jesus, and was to breathe into it, it's a lifeless. If I give him life, he's going to think against me and he's going to cause my own death. There's a problem of sin in this world and all these things, Instead of blowing it, he will blow it away. Softly blowing into his nostrils the breath of life, he will just, his anger, he will blow it like a hurricane or something, blowing it away. The head of Adam would have been blown away 1,000 miles away. How gracious our God is. How we dare to question the love of God. Simply because we have mouth to speak. Is that the only reason? No, we don't understand. We don't understand the marvels of creation. The Creator has taken so much pain, I will say that. The pain in Jesus, death did not happen on Calvary or Gethsemane, The actual pounding of the nail and everything started right there when the creation was taking. Right there, because as God, He knew this is going to happen. That's why we read in the Bible, the lamb that was slain from the foundation of the earth. That's it. The lamb that was slain. The experience of slaying on the part of Christ did not happen on the mount, Golgotha, Calvary, started there. You think of Abraham and Isaac walking up to that Mount Moriah. Abraham was to offer Isaac a sacrifice there. There he went and tied down, then took the knife and, came down just a quarter of an inch close to his throat. Isaac felt the pain when, I took the knife and all that. But when did Abraham feel that? The night in which God appeared and said that, slay your son. That knife went through Abraham's heart 1,000,000 times, not 100, 1,000,000 times, in and out, in and out, in and out. God the Father experienced the pain, yes, because He is giving away His Son to be crucified, This mystery of creation, all that is involved in it. What it cost God to make man? We just read it and say, hey, it's great, it's wonderful, God took the mud and made it and breathed, and here a little creature running all around, wonderful. No, it's a lot more involved there. Lot more involved there. Knowing what it cost God's own Son and God, knowing that He loved us so much to create. What made Him to create, knowing the cost? The only answer, God so loved the world, means people. He loved man. He said, let us make man in our image. If there is eternal hell, who is pained more about eternal hell? Definitely will say God is pained very much. God is not laughing at people there, but God's justice cannot be violated. God's justice cannot be violated. God did not laugh when Jesus was crying there on the cross. My God, why thou hast forsaken me? He could have come down and immediately, taken the son out of the cross and said, you go, you don't have to die. Not the same thing. God experienced the pain and agony. So that's a brief introduction I wanted. So when we enter into the study of anthropology, we need to enter into it with great reverence. We are talking about the creation of man. It's not a toy manufacturing company making toys. A few toys damaged, throw it away. Give them to recycling. It's not like that. It's great. Westminster Confession says, God created man, male and female, with reasonable and immortal souls. It's a great statement. God created man, male and female, with reasonable and immortal souls. If you want to write a commentary on that, you can write 1,000 pages. Did it say God made man? God created man. Yes. The physical body of man, of course, was not ex nihilo. It used the available material. But the breath of life, from his own breath of life, he transferred it to man. Man became a reasonable, means he has a rational ability. He can reason now. He can reason. He is an intelligent creature. He has emotions. He has, cognition, intelligence. He had volition, willpower. And an immortal soul. That soul cannot be destroyed even in hell. It will be there because it's imparted from God. So you think of, the body can be destroyed. Yes. But the soul cannot be. God is immortal. God made man also immortal. But God's immortality is uncreated immortality. Man's immortality is created. So that has a big difference. Yes. God made man an eternal being. But no eternity past, but only eternity future. It's a marvelous creation. It's a marvelous creation. Genesis 1:27 supports that statement. Genesis 1:27. What does it say? 1:26 says, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. 1:27 says, He created them male and female. He created them male and female. God created amazing, beautifully. Genesis 2:7 says, God breathed into man the breath of life, and man became a living soul. God has created so many animals. The sea animals, or the sea creatures, the land animals, the fowls in the air, and all that. He didn't breathe into their nostrils. They did not become living creatures. They only commanded, let every kind bring forth after its own kind. The cattle and the elephants, they were all spoken into existence. God didn't say, let man come out or come forth. The labor of man, the labor of man. Somebody very rightly said that for 6 days God has created huge, great planets and animals and all. He never got his hands soiled. But when he made man, he looked at it, it's full of soil. And to redeem him, he looked at it's full of blood. Think of that. Yes. How much it cost God to make man. So that statement, let us make man in our image, is not a small statement. It's so much is involved in it. Yes.